What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Game Channel. My name's AJ Gels. How y'all doing? Late to the party as usual. Yes, I wanted to do this video yesterday, but I was waiting for another video to finish uploading, so I could swap some cords around with my capture card, just so I could start recording PC stuff. So I could do this video, but I had to wait for the other upload to finish, just so I didn't fuck with the uploads or anything like that. It's a whole thing. Then, it was dinner time, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to eat dinner, then I'll do the video. I was kind of sleepy after dinner. I'm like, okay, you know what, I'll take a quick nap, and then I'll wake up and do the video. And I woke up 7 hours later, and here we are, the morning of the day after this state of play, and we're finally going to be taking a look at it. This is The Last of Us Part 2 State of Play. God damn, I'm an idiot. I am sorry that this is late, guys. I do promise I wanted to do this yesterday on time, but either way, you're here to hear me talk about Last of Us, not my my terrible scheduling. Last of Us Part 2. I think you guys should know my opinions on The Last of Us Part 2 by now. I'm excited for the game. I absolutely loved the first game. I agree with people who say that the first game belongs in probably the top 10 games of all time. I mean, it was amazing from gameplay perspective, narrative perspective. Just it looked beautiful. I played it recently. Granted, I played the remaster, but still, I mean, the game looks good for what even for when it was made. It looked great. It still looks great now. I really love the first game, so I can't help but be excited for the sequel. Now, the leaks did make me a little nervous, mostly not because I've read the leaks, but because I've seen people react to the leaks, and people are saying, "Oh, this is going to be horrible. They're injecting so many far left politics and all this stuff, and they're trying to make it super progressive." And look, it doesn't make me a little fearful that it's going to be all political pandering and not actually The Last of Us. Yeah, it does make me a little afraid because Naughty Dog and a lot of developers, I wouldn't put it past them. But, and I've just seen people say that the narrative itself, beyond the political infusion that I've been hearing that people have been talking about, I've heard people just say, look, the narrative just looks like it's crap. Yet again, there's also arguments that have said, look, all the leaks that we've seen are out of context, and it's a lot of stuff here and there, so it's I don't know. It's one of those, you see so much negativity towards it, you can't help but get a little worried. So I think I've been in that mood, but the last trailer I saw really hyped me back up for it. And I'm really hoping this gets me back, just really stoked for the game. Or even more than I already am. So, I mean, it's a whole thing. That's my thoughts on The Last of Us Part 2. And real quick before we get into this, because this kind of has to do with The Last of Us. It has to do with Sony and how they're handling the next gen stuff. I've been seeing a lot on Twitter, people asking, why are they doing things for like Ghost of Tsushima and now The Last of Us Part 2, games that we've known about for years that are almost out? Why are we seeing these and not a big Sony reveal, or for the PS5? Look, Xbox has handled this better than the PS5. I think I said something like this on Twitter, that look, for its faults, and even though I think people have given a little bit more credit to Xbox than I think they deserve, I think that's because they've actually come out and said things, unlike Sony. Granted, I mean, I do think that last Xbox event, leading with third-party studios, doesn't give me a lot of confidence in you, and also saying, yeah, here's Assassin's Creed Valhalla gameplay. I'm still not over the fact that they did not show that. That was a lie. That was bullshit. And I think it pissed off a lot of people. That's beside the point. I think they've made mistakes. Yes, they're being more open than Sony. So yeah, Sony's not done a very good job right now with the next gen, but I still think they're planning something. I mean, look, I don't know when we're going to see something. Dear God, I hope it's soon. I hope, I have trust in Sony. I think they're really working behind the scenes. They're really planning something big for the PS5 reveal. I mean, I really question how much this whole coronavirus situation, I mean, I don't know much about the situation in Japan, and what's been going on there, so maybe that's why everything's been so bad. I don't know. That's about the only thing that I can think of for why they haven't done something, but it's a whole thing. I at least understand why they're doing Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2 stuff, because we really haven't had big gameplay reveals for the two. I mean, we've seen small slices of The Last of Us. We've seen small slices for Ghost of Tsushima at E3s. That stuff we've seen before. And all that. So I'm not surprised that they're doing these two kind of quick state of plays about, each about 30 minutes just to show us their gameplay for the game. So that's my take on that. Sorry I yacked so long. Let's actually hop into this. Or just sit and watch the blue light. I do like how the state of play is start up like the lights on your PlayStation. There we go. I almost said lights on your Sony. I'm going crazy.
I know you wish things were different. I wish things were different. Ellie! But they ain't.
Please stop!
Why does this sound underwater? I thought this the first because this was shown in the trailer, or is this actually the trailer that we've seen before? Yeah, this is the trailer that got me rehyped for the game. I don't know why it sounds underwater.
I'm leaving tomorrow.
And that's normal.
To do this smart, we'd be leaving Jackson vulnerable.
So they just get away with this?
How'd you find us?
You can't stop this.
I want what you want. But not at any cost. I really hope you make it.
You know, I had to look up the name of the voice actress because I always forget her name. Ashley Johnson, the woman who voices Ellie, absolutely love her.
Finish it.
There's a cost.
We could have killed you.
Maybe you should have.
Yeah, I absolutely love Ashley Johnson. I've heard her in games, TV shows. She's great. She's got such a great voice.
And the director of The Last of Us Part 2. We're just a few weeks away from launch on June 19th, when the game will finally be in your hands. The wait has been long, and we're extremely grateful for your patience, especially now in the midst of these unprecedented and challenging times. We hope you're all taking care of yourselves and that you, your friends, and your loved ones are doing well. Because of these extraordinary circumstances, we can't be together in this final stretch and share the experience like we usually would. So today we're trying something different. Something we've never done before. Over the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to give you an in-depth look into what awaits you in The Last of Us Part 2, including new details about the gameplay experience and story. And to cap it all off, we'll be showing a never-before-seen, lengthy gameplay sequence. You'll definitely want to stick around for that.
I don't know what happened. I was supposed to take her to the Fireflies and walk away. They were actually going to make a cure. The only catch, it would kill her.
The Last of Us Part 2 picks up Ellie and Joel's story several years after the events of the first game. Ellie and Joel have settled in Jackson, Wyoming, amongst a thriving community of survivors. With the threats of the world kept outside the town's walls, Jackson has been able to find relative peace and even stability. Ellie is now 19, lives on her own, and has been able to forge lasting relationships within the community.
Scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate our kiss from last night?
Oh yeah, smoke dope in a zombie apocalypse. That's fantastic.
However, this peace is short.
Great plan.
Jackson and Ellie suffer a violent and traumatizing event. Ellie sets off back into the treacherous outside world in search of retribution and justice. Her journey will take her to new parts of the country previously unexplored in The Last of Us. The story spans multiple seasons and climates, from the snow-capped mountains of Jackson to the lush Pacific Northwest. Each introduces a wide range of exterior and interior environments for you to navigate and explore, rendered in meticulous detail and unprecedented scale with the latest iteration of the Naughty Dog engine. Our goal was...
Okay, let's be honest here, though. You know, he's saying, oh, environments that have never been explored in The Last of Us. Okay, so you got a snowy mountain area. That was in the original Last of Us. You know, you've got these cities that are kind of that are being retaken by nature. That was in The Last of Us. You know, you get this, like, interior in the hospital. That was in The Last of Us. Like, yeah, you can say they're in new places in the country. You know, well, these mountains are in Wyoming, but those mountains in the first game were in this part of the country. Okay, that's true, but it's still the same environment. Like, you know, it just I don't know why that bugs me. It just it's one of those, like, okay, that's a distinction without a difference sort of thing. That makes sense.
Was to make these environments not only beautiful, but feel as grounded and authentic to the cities they're based on as possible. Much of the story unfolds in what remains of Seattle, a massive former quarantine zone. Its locales are incredibly diverse, spanning a dense city center with a skyline of towering high-rises to the beautiful suburbs and stormy waterfronts that surround it. The city exhibits drastic shifts in architecture, elevation, and weather. And with Part 2, we've introduced new traversal mechanics that afford greater exploration and ways to navigate threats. Ellie is not only able to climb and jump over gaps, but she can use ropes to scale vertical terrain or swing over obstacles, allowing you to discover new areas, resources, and side narratives.
Yeah, because Joel was physically unable to do any of that stuff.
Also create new strategic considerations in combat, whether it's to get the jump on enemies or bypass them entirely. The Last of Us Part 2 features some of the largest environments we've ever created. Horseback...
I mean, clearly I'm just joking. I love it when they add, you know, like, oh, you can jump in this game. Oh, so my character was unable to jump in the previous games? That's odd. Excuse me. And I'm speaking from a logic point of view. You know, it's like, yes, I understand. There's a, you know, obviously your character could jump, but now you can jump on your own accord or whatever. It's funny to me. I'm dumb. I like funny. I like dumb things. Whatever. The actual comment I wanted to make here is what they're showing here is clearly a lot of the moveset, the way Ellie's, you know, the swinging on ropes and everything, very reminiscent of Uncharted. Which, I mean, makes sense, both Naughty Dog games. So, I would expect the way Ellie moves around the environment, especially the way that she climbs and jumps. A lot of the things that you saw Nathan Drake do in Uncharted 4 would not surprise me to see Ellie do in this game.
Riding will allow Ellie to quickly cover some of these expansive terrains. Some streets are so flooded that a boat is required to navigate them.
Or a boat's going to replace those block puzzles. However, for the first
the world
one.
Of The Last of Us is as lush and inviting as it is deadly.
Can Ellie swim?
As Ellie uncovers the path to finding those who have wronged her, she must face the many threats of this unknown city. In the wake of the pandemic and the fall of the quarantine zone, Seattle has become a war zone, where two warring factions find themselves in an ongoing conflict for territory and resources. One of these groups is the Washington Liberation Front, otherwise known as the WLF.
Oh yeah, those guys sound friendly.
The WLF are a militia group that began as resistance to the military occupation of Seattle, and eventually wrestled control of the city from them. They are highly trained, organized, and well-equipped with weapons they stole from the army. They occupy much of the city, imprisoning or killing trespassers on sight.
Hey, we got another trespasser, a girl. Did you see her?
On the other side of this bloody conflict is a group of religious zealots called the Seraphites.
Oh great, two groups that are awful.
Defined by the self-inflicted deep cuts that they bear across their faces. Like the WLF, they're deeply tribalistic and territorial. They're known for being stealthy, using overgrowth as cover, and they use more silent weapons like bows and arrows.
Clip her wings.
conflict among survivors, the threat that originally brought the world to its knees is very much present. Every human is in danger of falling victim to the infected.
Cordyceps. God damn, those things look awesome. Now, with the two groups in the city, or that are apparently taking over the city, two of my least favorite things to see. How to put this? I don't want to say the least favorite things to see. They're I'm trying to think the best way to describe them. They're very cut and paste in a way. You know, on one side you have a paramilitary organization, on the other side you have a religious zealots. It's very textbook, I guess. But at the same, I don't know, because I mean it's any infection game. You know, you're always gonna have those paramilitary groups. You're gonna have the religious group. Hell, let's go back to another Sony game, for instance, that used zombies. Let's go back to Days Gone. You had the Rippers, and you had that militia that Deacon joins. That's name is escaping me right now. You know, you have that militia group that he joins. Again, you see those two groups used in so many zombie / infection sort of worlds. I think it's because they're easy to kind of like put in there, but they don't get points for originality. Now, I don't know. I mean, they could be really interesting. It depends on, you know, like, you know, I mean, obviously we just have their base overview, so maybe they're going to be a lot more interesting to see when we actually get to play the game. But like I said, no points for originality. Although I will say the religious groups, and from the not screenshots, from the little clips that we've seen in this video, from things that we've seen in E3's past, I will say this game looks like they're going a lot more brutal than Last of Us, the original Last of Us went, and I get some points for me for that. No points for originality, you get points for brutality.
They are the recently infected runners, who are more numerous and aggressive in this game. The blind but extremely deadly clickers, and the stalkers, who sneak and hide until they're ready to attack, surprising their victims with extreme agility and brutal violence. The Last of Us
those guys were fun.
Introduces new stages of infected, such as the Shamblers. Large, heavily armored enemies that are covered in pustule. Upon getting close to you, they expel a corrosive spore cloud that burns its victims. But our most terrifying and lethal new forms of infected will have to wait until you play the game for yourselves.
Oh, fun. I kind of like the new enemy types. The Shamblers are really cool.
Sneak and hide.
Or the Stalkers, excuse me.
Surprising their victims with extreme agility and brutal violence.
You know, kind of a hybrid between a runner and a clicker. My guess is that they're probably going to be some sort of like halfway point in the infection between the typical runners and the clickers. I mean, you can even see it. Let's see if I can get a better pause. I could not.
The blind but extremely deadly clickers.
Yeah, you see them, how they're moving. God damn it! I can't get a good.
Surprising.
But yeah, you can kind of see how
and brutal violence.
You can see how the mushrooms and I know cordyceps are what the zombies are, but you know what I'm saying. Like, you can kind of see the fungus kind of growing out of their heads, already kind of forming that face mask that the clickers have. And I kind of like the idea that they're kind of fast moving. They're more stealthy. They're going to come at you from different angles. I like that idea. It's a neat concept.
Stages of infected, such as the Shamblers, large, heavily armored enemies that are covered in pustule. Upon getting close to you, they expel a corrosive spore cloud that burns its victims. But our most terrifying and lethal new forms of infected will have to wait until you play the game for yourself.
I mean, obviously, this with this game taking place further down the line, there's going to be more mutations. So I'm hoping those more dangerous ones. I mean, it's like I said, the I'm going to say Shamblers again, Stalkers. Like I said, to me they look visually like a halfway point between the runners and the clickers. Maybe they aren't in terms of what the infection is or whatever, but that's what they look to me. The Shamblers are the one that exploded. That shot off all the spores or whatever. For some reason, I can't remember what. Either way, you know the one I'm talking about. That they just showed. That one to me just looks like a modified bloater from the first game. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe again we're gonna find that this one's like an early stage that will eventually become a bloater. But that one to me is a little less interesting. I don't know. I'm hoping they kind of. I'm not saying like they go all out and make like giant monsters. For this game, I don't want it to become like some of the more recent Resident Evil games where it's here's like this giant 20-foot monster. And you need like bazookas or whatever to take it down, because I actually liked the fact that in The Last of Us there were really only about two main types of zombies that you dealt with. You dealt with the runners, and you dealt with the clickers. Yeah, there were a few boss type enemies that would show up every so often, but they did enough with the limited like mutations and forms of the virus. I really like that. I hope they don't go too crazy with this one, if that makes sense. I think it felt the first one, it felt very grounded, but it felt scary enough and intense enough with just what they had. I think especially because the clickers were one-shot kill enemies. Made them very annoying, but you gotta hand it to them, they were pretty cool.
Helps. Overcoming these threats will require careful consideration of how you approach every combat encounter and how you leverage Ellie's unique skills, equipment, and the environment to your advantage.
See, the introduction of the dogs, I think, might be the most interesting enemy types.
Seattle with guard dogs, which are capable of detecting and following you, even while in cover.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I think that's probably the most interesting.
Presence. Listen mode will reveal your scent trail, so keep moving and cause distractions to avoid detection. 25 years after the pandemic began, the world is completely overgrown. Use tall grass to hide from enemies and go prone to stay out of sight. However, this form of analog stealth means you're never fully hidden. If enemies get close enough, they can discover you, even in grass. When Ellie is overwhelmed, running away is a viable option. You can also break glass or crawl.
Oh, that was cool, the breaking the glass thing. But I like that in the words are hard. I like that stealth concept, that the grass isn't a safe place. It isn't like in the earlier Assassin's Creed games where you're in the tall grass, you're basically undetectable unless somebody bumps into you. I kind of like the fact that it's not a safe spot. I think that's what they're trying to get at here. I think that's what they're trying to do with the stealth in this game. You're never safe. You have to keep moving. You have to keep thinking. You have to constantly be on guard of what equipment you have, how many bullets, what enemy types you're facing. I really like that it's kind of it's giving you enough to be powerful and enough to deal with the enemies, but it's always going to push you a little bit. I really like that concept.
Through tight spaces to find new paths or areas to evade or take on your enemies. In any given combat situation.
So this is just a weird thing I just noticed.
Or crawl through tight spaces.
Yeah, you see how she's running by you see the half-filled rag or whatever. So I'm going to guess crafting on the fly, crafting Molotovs, crafting bandages or whatever is going to be a very similar, it's going to be a similar mechanic, of how that it's not you have 2 or 3 rags. No, it's going to be that like half-filled circle or whatever. I don't know the best way to describe it. It looks like they're keeping that framework from the original game, which honestly I liked it from the original game. So it's nice to see that make a return.
To find new paths or areas to evade or take on your enemies. In any given combat situation, you can flee an encounter and re-establish stealth to regain the advantage. If you absolutely have to fight your way out, there are a variety of tools at your disposal. Ellie's more agile than most of her enemies. She can sprint and quickly dodge incoming attacks. Learning how opponents attack with different weapons and mastering the timing of your dodges will prevent you from taking damage and create opportunities to counter.
Oh, cool.
You can use throwable items or well-placed shots to stun enemies before dealing a killing blow. Or using them as a shield to protect yourself or buy some time to figure out your next move.
Come on. I'm glad to see the knife that Ellie's switchblade. Well, A makes a return, and B is still an unbreakable melee weapon. Similar to Deacon. I'm gonna keep making references to Days Gone. Similar to Deacon's boot knife. It's nice to always have that kind of fallback. Yeah, Joel had his fists, and that was really cool. But at the same time, it's nice to still feel like you have a weapon. It's like I said, it's not going to make you feel safe, but it's going to still make you feel powerful enough to take on an enemy. And this is something I noticed all the way back at E3. I think one of the first times we actually got to see some stealth gameplay for this title. We got to see Ellie. She was getting chased by somebody, I think, with a big machete or something, like in what looked like a little convenience store or a little pharmacy. You saw her interacting with the walls or with the shelves. She was putting her arm out. She was leaning on things. Again, I think we started seeing more stuff like that in Uncharted 4. So I like that they're taking that a step further in this game too. Even when you see her take the guy down with the knife stab to the stomach, and then she took his machete and stabbed him with it. That thing. It was like 20 seconds ago. I'm trying to think the best way to describe. I think the word dynamic describes it the best. It's almost cinematic in a way, without cutting you into like a cinematic like animation that kind of looks out of place in the environment. That looked very, very solid, very dynamic. It's very circumstantial. I know I feel like I'm just saying buzzwords. I feel like a lot of times in games when you get stuck into takedown animations. I think you saw a lot of this in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, specifically when the main character would actually enter basically like I said, like a takedown animation. It would look like they are separate from the environment. Like they are, like you could tell, like the background kind of looks green screen. That what we saw Ellie do with that machete looked very much in world, very, very grounded. It looked like her, the environment, the character, the blade. Everything was all meant to be together, it was character model, weapon, green screen background. Everything looked like it was all one piece. I think that's the best way I can describe it.
Ellie isn't always alone on her journey. Allies will take part in helping you navigate the environments, spot enemies, and meaningfully help you in combat encounters.
Back off!
Oh, cool. I like that.
Between the human survivors and the
kind of like, what was her name? Was her name Tess? The chick who was Joel's partner at the very, I believe it was Tess. I'm thinking Triss, but I think that's my love of The Witcher showing up. Kind of like her in the first game, in the very beginning of the first game, from what I remember, she actually helped in combat, kind of. But for the most part, you were always playing as Joel alone. Ellie would pop up, she would help out a little bit, but it looks like this time when you're actually with a companion, they are actually going to do stuff. I'm just really curious how the AI is going to work, if it's going to be very reactive or it's going to be proactive. I'm not sure how it's going to come down. I think that one's one of those we have to play it to really see how well the partner AI is going to work. But I do like the idea. We'll say that.
The roaming infected, there will be times where multiple threats are present, creating strategic considerations and opportunities.
I also hope that when we're stealthing around, trying, either stalking human enemies, stalking zombies, or anything like that, that the allied AI is also invisible, kind of like Ellie was. Yeah, it was kind of like a weird immersion break, but at the same time, we got to. It didn't punish us for the AI trying to keep up to the player character.
You can choose whether to attack these opponents separately and directly, or find ways to pit them against each other. Flee as they fight, or wait until their numbers have thinned out and engage with whomever's left.
Oh, see, that's something we didn't see a lot of in the first game, where the I'm going to keep saying zombies, but where the cordyceps and the human enemies were kind of in the same. We didn't have mixed combat engagements.
Our goal is to create unparalleled tension, coupled with deep systems that give you greater control and influence over your journey. As you play, you'll be able to invest in a broad collection of crafting items, weapon, and player upgrades through training manuals scattered throughout the environment and scavenging for ingredients. These skills and upgrade manuals cater to a variety of playstyles, and the choices you make will create your own distinct experience. We also wanted to extend that agency and personalization to your weapons through our new workbench system. Scavenge for parts to modify and improve your weapon's performance and attributes, all of which are visualized and become part of your character.
See, I'm really glad they kept the animation, you know, like seeing the gun and all this on the workbench, and they added more animations to Ellie actually messing with the gun, adding that scope on. I don't know why that's some of my favorite just minor details in games when you see games do stuff like that. When you show where not only am I customizing my weapons and, you know, adding upgrades or whatever, you actually see the character fiddle with them and actually like add the upgrade to the weapon. I really like that. I don't know why, I just do. Yeah, you see what I mean? Crafting's kind of coming back.
Will also require using the parts and ingredients that you'll find.
Though I do want to go back just a tad. Looks like we can craft silencers for our pistol. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be something. It's gonna be like a makeshift suppressor. It's gonna be something kind of like Days Gone, where you can use the air filter from the car. I have a feeling it's gonna be something like that. But I like that they're giving a silenced handgun. Like I was wondering with the rifle if you get a silencer as well,
which can be crafted into a wide range of defensive and offensive items, like proximity mines, explosive arrows, pistol suppressors, and more.
Breaks after 3 shots. Okay, that's neat.
All of these gameplay systems are meant to immerse you in the world and make you feel in lockstep with Ellie's emotional journey. As we've said before, this is Naughty Dog's largest, most ambitious game. It may seem like we covered a lot, but we've only scratched the surface of what it's like to play The Last of Us Part 2. We can't wait for you to experience it all for yourself on June 19th. Until then, here's an extended sequence of never-before-seen gameplay. Enjoy.
Come on. Come on. Swim. She can swim! I think we already knew that she could swim. I don't know. I feel the need to bring it up.
Shit.
Escape while no one was looking. We're searching the area, just in case she's still around.
Isaac's not happy about it.
No shit.
Escape. What the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see if you're going to be able to use that going underwater tactically. Yeah, you get what I mean. Maybe you could use that in a stealth encounter. Though at the same time, I kind of like how the water's very murky. It would be kind of hard to know where you are in comparison to your enemies. In a way, this is reminding me of Splinter Cell.
Don't make a fucking sound. Hands up.
She's playing Avita.
Where is she?
In the hospital.
We're in the hospital.
Yeah, they're clearing out the upper floors. She's somewhere in there.
I'm sorry. I was laughing at the Vita. I'm gonna go back so we can actually hear what she says.
Hospital.
Yeah, they're clearing out the upper floor. Let me see.
You know what, girl? Don't make a fucking sound. Hands up.
Let me see.
You know a girl named Nora?
Sure, yeah.
Where is she?
In the hospital.
We're in the hospital.
Yeah, they're clearing out the upper floors. She's somewhere in there.
Oh god, right in the throat. See, that's what I mean. Just really brutal. Oh, cool. You see her, like, writhe on the ground, and oh, it's gross. I love it. Excuse me. No, oh my god, she played a Vita. Come on, show us the game. What game is she playing? She playing that Uncharted game that was that was on Vita? What was it? It wasn't the Lost Legacy, was it? God damn, I can't remember.
Good. I got my girl waiting for him for Bob.
Come on, Naughty Dog. That was a perfect chance.
We get the job done.
I bet you do. No, this is not fair.
I'm telling you, man. Data soldier. It makes these shifts so much easier.
Ah, god damn it! It looks like the automatic snap to cover still there. I've never been a fan of that in games. That sort of you get close to something and you're in cover. I've never been a fan of that.
Did you hear why we're all getting called up to the fob?
I heard that Isaac wants us to retake all of downtown.
Oh, cool! You can kind of see the smoke coming out of the
No way.
coming from the gunshot.
Went down last.
Just a dumb detail, but I like it.
And Isaac is
Well,
crazy.
yeah, I've never been a fan of this whole snap to cover. Oh my god, it's like a Coke bottle. Yeah, I've never been a fan of that whole snap to cover thing, but
All right.
what can you do? It was in the first game. It wasn't that bad in the first game. It's not what I love. I prefer a button to get in and out of cover, whatever. It's my preference.
Sticky tape from that way.
Okay, so apparently that character's name was Charlotte. That's something else that we've heard a lot about this game, that the enemies will actually have names and interact with each other, and they'll have, I'm not going to say they have like full-on backstories, but the enemies are more human than they were in the original. Aww, poor doggy. Oh, cool. You can actually see the bottle that she's using as a silencer. You can actually see it have wear on it. If you can see if I can get a... God damn it. Of course I missed it. But no, you could actually see that it's burnt and it's been used as a silencer, you know?
Just like that.
Oh, cool. She doesn't take the actual gun. She takes the magazine out of the rifle. Oh, that's neat.
Saw movement.
I'll go check it out. I got you covered. Holy shit! Shit! Look out! Move! Over here! Drop her now!
I think you can see the developer when they charge in. I'm gonna guess the person playing missed through that smoke bomb. So yeah, right there, you kind of see him get lost a little bit.
Drop her now! Crook! Asshole! I found her!
Oh, that's awesome. even inside a hospital, like, this reminds me so much of the first game. I got nothing against it, but yeah, it's kind of like I was getting at with with what Druckmann was saying. You know, you're saying, oh, we're doing so many new environments. Is it really? Is it? I also enjoy the fact that you can still see all the weapons that you see her 2 pistols. You see the one in the back of her pants, the one on her holster. You see the melee weapon, the 2 long guns on the side. Oh, is she gonna Splinter Cell, just like drop through the vents?
What the fuck was Abby here?
I'm not stupid. You're gonna tell us where she went.
When Isaac talks to us about this...
I'm getting tired of this.
Nora. Nora! I'm not going down for her, man.
Seriously, man, the only thing I need out of this is to see Sam Fisher pop up.
Don't scream. Put that shit down. You remember me? Yeah. You remember me.
Ooh, not giving us enough of the story there to piece anything together. Ooh. All right. Final impressions. I think I pretty much covered everything as was happening. No, it looks, from the look of it, it's going to feel like The Last of Us, which is a good thing, because I think that game was extremely smooth. It looks like it's going to give you more options to play with. Again, I think look, Uncharted 3 to Uncharted 4. That's what The Last of Us Part 2 is going to be. It's going to be built on the same blocks, but it's going to be a little smoother to control. We're going to get a little bit more movement options. We're going to get more crafting options. We're going to get just more detail in the game. I really like that idea that that you can kind of pit the cordyceps against the human enemies. That's really cool. Like I said, just watching Ellie, when she takes ammo out of a gun, you actually see her pull the magazine, not the actual gun itself disappearing. Everything that I can say I really liked were a lot of small details. I think a lot of it's going to come down to how it feels in our hands at the moment. I really like how they're being how cagey they're being with the story. It's we're going to share details of the narrative, but how much did we really learn here? I'm still excited, man. We're a couple weeks away. Game looks awesome. I really like the way the enemy AI interacts with the world. The way that they actually go after Ellie, it feels very natural. Again, I think something I said earlier, I think, is probably one of the best ways to put it. It's going to make you feel powerful, but still push you at the same time. And I think that's what the original game did. I think the original Last of Us did that at the same as well. It constantly pushed you, your equipment, your abilities, but at the same time, you never felt weak. You felt like you could handle every situation. It's just going to come down to how you do it. So I'm super excited. I thought that was a lot of fun. Really cool to see everything. Tell me what you guys thought down in the comments below. Sorry I got a little wordy at the very beginning, but again, I don't know. I kind of wanted to talk the whole Sony situation at the beginning of the video. So thanks for watching. Social media is in the description. Like, comment, not already. Please subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more next time. Till then, my name's AJ Gels. This is Something Gaming Channel. I'm out.